Not too long ago, this was a beautiful place. Magnificent buildings stood around the cobblestone square. They had been there for hundreds of years. Trees lent their shade over benches placed by the streets. All around the square, pots brimmed over with colorful flowers. Everything was well tended and loved. A boy named Alan used to pass through this square every day with his friends. Alan liked to listen to the rhythm of footsteps and bicycle wheels clattering over the stones. In the background, the murmur of people laughing and talking was gently muffled by the breeze and birds singing in the trees. The air smelled clean. Alan loved coming to the square. After school, Alan and his friends often stopped to buy cakes and pastries from a bakery nearby. While the other children lingered to play, Alan usually hurried off on his bicycle to a music class or rehearsal. Not too long ago, this was a safe place. People greeted each other with smiles and exchanged stories and laughed together. Children darted about, busy with their games. Then a day came when the grown-ups whispered about wars beginning in nearby cities. With worried looks they said, "It could never happen here." When they first heard the rumors, Alan's friends thought a war might be exciting. But Alan wondered if he could be brave if it ever happened. He cringed when his friends laughed and said, "You'll probably hide away somewhere with your violin and miss everything." Now the war has come, and Alan knows there is nothing exciting about it. Only horror and destruction. Everything has changed. A cloak of darkness smothers the city. Bombs and bullets fall like rain. Faces show the fearful expression of those who must listen for every sound and watch around every corner. Around the square, many buildings are in ruins. Every day, yet another pile of rubble appears where a building used to stand. Trees have been cut down for firewood, the birds have flown away, and no flowers are to be seen. When Alan comes here, he almost chokes from the evil-smelling smoke that never goes away. Even his bicycle has been destroyed. It has been months since Alan has seen most of his friends. Some, he knows, have been injured or killed. Many have left the city. Schools are closed, so children continue their lessons in shelters. Each night in his cellar, Alan practices the violin. Sometimes his father sits with him and listens. Alan's parents work long hours at the hospital, and when they return, they are weary and sad. Alan wishes he could stay indoors, but there is no choice. Every day he must go outside to stand in line for water and carry it all the way home. If he doesn't do this, his family will have no water to drink or to use for washing. Alan's heart pounds loudly with fear as he waits. When he is finally able to leave, he can barely hear the beat of his own footsteps against the blasts of explosions. Suddenly, he is startled by a sound, at first terrifying and then strangely familiar. Could someone really be tuning a cello? Here? Now? Alan turns the corner and is astonished. A man is sitting in a chair in the middle of the street, calmly preparing to play a cello that he has unpacked from a worn napkin case. Alan shakes his head in disbelief. Who is that man? What is he up to, he wonders, as he hurries off, having been warned never to loiter here. The music rises as Alan leaves, and he realizes that the stranger is a great musician. People appear in doorways and windows and watch in amazement. For the first time in months, Alan walks past ruined buildings without thinking about bombs and snipers. Instead, his thoughts are with the cellist, and he wonders again, why is he making music in the street? Every day after that, Alan hurries through the square after fetching the water, wondering if he will see the cellist again. Day after day, the man is in the square, and his music soars above the broken cobblestones, touching the people who gather to listen. Alan lingers for a few seconds longer each day. He knows he has to hurry on, but he is unable to pull himself away. Alan can't stop looking at the cellist's face. The man's eyes are nearly closed, but Alan senses that he is seeing many things as he plays. People have gathered around to listen, and they hold each other and cry. Music fills their hearts and reminds them all of happier days. It stirs in them the hope that these forlorn times can pass. One day, Alan stops and listens until the man has played the entire piece of music. He has forgotten to be afraid. Walking home, Alan imagines the music as vividly as if the cellist was still playing beside him. He remembers a cherry tree laden with fruit that is nearly ready to pick, and he comes up with an idea. 3 weeks after the musician first appeared, Alan's father comes home early from work. Alan says to his father, "Papa, please come with me for the water today. I want you to meet the cellist I have been talking about." After filling their bottles, Alan and his father walk to the square and listen until the cellist stops playing. Then Alan's father approaches the cellist and says, My son and I have enjoyed your music. Alan plays the violin, and he wants to become a musician like you. We do not have much to offer, but we would like you to share a meal with us at our home. In another time and place, it might seem unusual to invite a stranger into your home, but a war can change many things. My name is Vedran, the man says. I would be very happy to join you. Thank you. They eat in the cellar, the safest place. It is a simple meal of homemade bread, lentil soup, and water. Alan has picked enough cherries to fill the largest bowl. The bright red fruits are sweet and juicy. After the meal, Vedran looks up and begins to speak. Nothing starts with the present, you know, Alan. The music I have been playing in the street these past weeks came from a man who lived long ago. His name was Albinoni, and he wrote hundreds of beautiful pieces. Sadly, much of his music is gone because the only copies were kept in buildings that had been destroyed by wars. After one terrible war, a small fragment of a music script was found amongst broken stones and dust. Was it Albinoni's music, Alan asks. Perhaps, says Vedran. We'll never know for sure. Then he continues. Only someone who loved the good things from the past could have dreamed of creating a whole piece of music from that simple scrap containing just a few notes. A man named Giussotto had this dream. He rebuilt Albinoni's music and created the beautiful adagio that you have heard me play for the past 22 days. Vedran's voice now drops to a near whisper. Every word is almost a sigh. Next to my house was the bakery. You probably remember the days before the war when the bakery was full of many types of bread and rolls, cookies and cakes. It was not too long ago. It was morning, 23 days ago. By the bakery, a long queue of people waited patiently and with dignity for a truck that would bring them bread. They waited for hours. They waited until late afternoon. Then suddenly there was a terrible explosion. A shell had exploded just steps away from them. In the first instant, there was utter silence, shock, and then chaos. Fearful screams, yelling, shouting, blood. People lay about, dead and wounded. From my home, I heard the cries for help. I dashed out and saw intermingled masses of bodies, blood everywhere. Everyone was in shock. Some ran away, agony on their faces. Some ran towards the massacre, trying to help the wounded. Then cars arrived with rescuers to help those who were injured. Can you imagine, Alan? Even some rescuers were hit by sniper fire. Finally, all the wounded people had been helped, and the dead people taken away. 22 people were killed in the blast. As if coming back from a distant place, Vedran's voice slowly returns to normal. The whole town was filled with pain. I didn't sleep that night, wondering why this had happened to these innocent people, my good neighbors and friends. The next morning, I went out to look again. The area was adorned with flowers and wreaths. I had brought my cello, but I didn't know what to play. Tears just slipped down my cheeks as I thought about the people who had died. I opened the cello case and somehow, something guided me to begin playing. Partway through, I recognized what I was playing. Albinoni's adagio. It had emerged as my musical prayer for peace. When I finished, I noticed that people had stopped to listen and cry with me. As I talked with them, I realized that this healing music helped us all to feel better. It provided us with hope. That was when I decided to play the same piece at the same place each day as a dedication to the 22 people who were killed in the bread queue. Today was my last day. As if answering Alan's unasked question, Vedran continues to speak. I was afraid. I am still afraid. Everybody who's sane is afraid when there are bullets and shells in the air. But when I play, the darkness is lifted, and I am able to show the world my other feelings. Music is love that connects people. My wish is for everybody to be able to share this. Now Alan imagines a time when all the fear and grief will be over and rebuilding will begin. He picks up his violin and plays his favorite music, which echoes in the cellar. His eyes are nearly closed, but he sees many beautiful things. When he finishes, he looks up at the smiling faces of his family and his new friend, Vedran. They are sharing a dream, and they know that one day music will be played again in this city, in peace and perfect harmony.